sometimes if we're in like a group, I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't want to call it the Irish exit, but I like to find like my own little space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like kind of in the corner maybe sometimes, and I'll like kind of just observe.
No, I thought you were going to say, we do these little skits here, and I have to location scout, and I'm like, oh, we're going to do it here in the studio, because I don't know how to do that. But we got somebody who knows how to do location scouting for actual TV and movies and all kinds of fun stuff. Thanks for joining us today.
Wende Whitus joins us, a freelance location scout, but also sounds like going to be able to help you woo-saw a little bit too this morning. Wende, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's so fun to be here.
All right, a location scout for film. First off, how do you get into that? How do you land in that space?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll make it short. So I did go to school at TCU. Go Horned Frogs.
Go Horned Frogs, yeah.
They had a very small radio, TV, film major, and I majored in that. I worked at a PBS station for a long time and then left production altogether. We went overseas for a while. That's a totally different story. When we came back in 2016, my kids were grown. I'm like, what do I want to do with my life again? So I started becoming a production assistant on some of the filming that was going on in the Charlotte area. And lo and behold, I found myself on this path of location scouting. I didn't even really know that was a real job. Right. It's like, but somebody has to find the places for things to be filmed. So I kind of got on that track and never looked back. I love it. It's my dream job.
Do they give you, do like directors, or is it directors that give you the information? Like, does it come with a picture, like a manuscript? How does it start?
So it varies. Most of the time I'm hired by a producer. So the producer will give me a brief, depending on the project. I work on a lot of commercials and photography. So in that case, it's usually working with a producer. They'll give me sometimes it'll be a script or storyboards or just a concept. We need this kind of house. We need this kind of store. We want a road that curves off into the distance over some hills. So it starts various ways, and usually a director at some point does get involved and has their very strong opinion on what I'm presenting. So it's kind of like a beauty pageant, right? You go down these different rounds of like, here's all the selections, and then they narrow it down, and then ding, 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 there's a winner.
Even the Southeast Carolinas, I mean, there's got to be some gems of some locations that you've come across.
There really are, and I describe it as treasure hunting all the time. Every time I'm out in the car, I'm just looking around, seeing what's out there, and I will always discover something new. I'm like, how did I not know this was here? Like, there's a waterfall that you can drive to, but it's owned privately, and I was able to get that for an RV production where they had never, this RV company, they'd been trying to find a waterfall to film in front of for years in different states, and I finally gave it to them. So yay.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so, and then there's Rocky Face National Park, which I had never, it's not a national park, but it's Rocky Face Park, which you can frame to look like it's this giant wall for rock climbing.
Oh, yeah.
But you can drive right up to it. The pavement just stops right in front of it. So it's great logistically. So I'm always finding interesting places.
It's not just about the look of it, but how the production crew can get there and all of those things involved in it.
Logistics is so key. Yeah. So
I have a question. So we know we love Lake Norman, right? We love the Charlotte area. And why do you think that producers and directors and writers have fallen in love with this area?
Well, I think let's talk about the state first. The state, you can go from mountains to coast in like 4 hours. So you have a lot of variety here. You also have the big city of Charlotte, which can be made to look like, as we talked about, Boston or New York City with the right angles. And then you have the small towns. You have the iconic, just like it could be anywhere in America. I think, Mooresville, downtown Mooresville is just
downtown Mooresville has been used
amazing.
So many times in so many different TV shows, films, commercials. Yeah,
that's right. And then you have all kinds of houses too. So I'm always looking for houses of all kinds, anywhere from like the smallest shack, depending on the script. You may need something really run down, to the most giant thing that was in, Ricky Bobby, where you have to have his mansion, right? So
I remember Ricky Bobby. Obviously, Hunting Wives we've heard of. Hunger Games was filmed in North Carolina, right? But in general, over like time, do you think there's been like an increase of people interested in North Carolina being the place where they record? Because commercials, I mean, that could play anywhere.
Exactly. I think commercials, especially commercial producers love it here. It's easy to get to. You have a nice airport to get to. It's easy logistically. And again, you can get kind of that all-American look. So you can have a national commercial that can literally play all over the United States and have a scene that looks like it could be anywhere.
So let's say somebody has like a house or a piece of land or something, and they're like, Wendy, got it. I got the spot for you. Do they reach out to you? What are they doing? How are you finding out about that?
So I am always looking. So I'm so glad to have this opportunity to talk about that. Because if anyone does have a house that they want to be used, the homeowners are compensated. And for commercials especially, it can be quite a lot. So cha-ching. So you can reach out to me if you have a property that you think might be used. There's also the Charlotte Regional Film Office in Charlotte, and that covers not just Charlotte, but the whole greater Charlotte area, including Lake Norman. So you can reach out to them. Beth Petty is the film commissioner here, and she keeps a database of locations. Sometimes I draw from those, and sometimes I'm out there seeking for something unique. I also work with a lot of realtors, just people that have become friends, and kind of pick their brains on, what's new and what's out there.
Was it one day you were standing in front of a rock wall and the director said, "This is genius," and you said, "Yes, now I can help other people find this wonderful piece"? Because now you also host these kind of retreat days. Can you share some about that?
Oh my goodness. So this is a completely different hat that I wear, but it does kind of go hand in hand. So a lot of people ask me, like, how do I juggle everything that I do? Because I'm a freelance location scout. I have a family. I have written a journal, a guided journal that's for sale on Amazon. I lead workshops, all of these things. But what I discovered about 15 years ago, was taking one day every month just to step back off the treadmill and really think about, reflect on the past, take that information and use it to design my future. That's how I came up with this whole location scouting thing. Really, over time, was like, what do I want my future to look like? And a lot of times we're so busy, we never step back to say, like, am I on the right path? What do I really want to be doing? And so, long story short, I've been doing that once a month for over a decade. And more recently, I've started teaching other people this concept because they're like, how are you so zen? Your job is so stressful. And so I lead some workshops on not just like having retreats for other people, but teaching people how to have their own personal retreat day practice.
And so the retreat, is it just for individuals? Or is this like more group kind of exercises? What are some of those options you offer?
It's really more of an individual practice. So I don't do a lot of individual coaching on it, but I'll lead workshops on like, how do you really step back? Most people say, I can't step back one day. I can't give up one day of my life every month to just be with me. For women, it's like you feel guilty. There's all these responsibilities you have with a family. How can I take time for myself? But I argue and I teach how to reframe that to say, like, you are bringing your best self if you take a day for yourself to really rest, reflect on the previous month, and reorient to the month ahead.
Yeah. All right. I have to ask you this question though before we go. Your favorite location that you found that's been in commercial, TV, film, anything like that. Do you have a favorite?
I do. And it's our friends at Kerrigan Farms.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness. They are so film friendly. They are so accommodating. And I've probably used that location, whether it's the quarry or the apple orchards or just the fields, probably a dozen times for different projects, and it looks different every time. I love Kerrigan Farms.
A lot of fun there. A lot of adventure.
I loved that last scene in Hunting Wives too.
Yeah,
yeah, that was at Kerrigan Farms. It's fun too when you see places that you've been. You're like, oh yeah, I know that place.
Exactly.
Yeah, yelling it out.
See, next time you're standing on your back porch and you're looking, you say, I think this could be in a movie. This could be in a commercial. I need to get in touch with Wendy.
Yeah.
Wendy Whitus.
I'm scouting right now for a couple of commercials. So
thank you so much. If someone was going to reach out to you, what's the best way to do that, Wendy?
My email, WENDE WHITUS@gmail.com.
Okay. If you've got the place, if you've got the location, get in touch with Wendy. Could end up in the next, big screen.